for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
It all comes down to this: 33 races, 25 unique courses, 4,208 laps, 5,641 miles have led to this moment, where 4 drivers are left standing after the rigors of the past 40 weeks, and tonight we will crown a champion. Live from Phoenix, it's the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series, presented by Racing Revolution. Gotta give a special shout out tonight, since it's the finale of the season, to all of the season-long sponsors: All About Bugs, Erhardt Homes, Coastal Financial, Buttkicker, Ultimate Exterior Lighting, and Chapman Environmental Services. It's been a fun one all season. We thank you for having us. I'm your host and producer, Morgan Cook, and alongside me, to get that back on the screen, is Bradley Cooper, and you are watching V-Speed.
I'm happy to be here, Morgan. I know that I'm filling in here for a guy that was with you all season long, Alex Gagnon, a little bit under the weather here tonight, but did a fantastic job, and I can only hope to fill his shoes here tonight for the season finale.
Appreciate you being here, Bradley, and we welcome everybody in for the Coastal Financial 156, the finale of the season. 4 drivers have a chance at taking home the coveted trophy. Right here on your screen, Racing Revolution's 2024
Beautiful
champion trophy. Phenomenal trophy. They are Jeremy the Mountain Man Burns, Rob the Rocket Raider, Grant Thorpe, and Carter Linz. We will talk to all 4 of them in about 2.5 minutes. But before we get there, Bradley, let's talk about the racetrack. The duel in the desert, what do the drivers have in store?
Well, this racetrack has seen more configurations than I think any location on the circuit. And when you talk about Phoenix, I still get confused to this day of what is turn 1 and what is turn 3. So I'm probably going to make that mistake at least once here tonight. But what hasn't changed is the steep banking and the cutting the dog leg down to pit road, the swooping corner through what is now 1 and 2 after that dog leg, where drivers are going to downshift from fifth gear. It's going to be continuously fourth and fifth gear back and forth through that portion of the racetrack. And for some of these guys that are brave enough, cutting that dog leg all the way down to pit road can shave off a couple tenths a lap. So you have to be careful here with the underbodies of these cars. I know they're in the short track format, but most of that car can still scrape this racetrack, and it's very easy to lose control, especially when those tire pressures are low.
And two completely different ends of this racetrack, as you mentioned, much less banking down in 1 and 2, about 8 degrees, as opposed to 11 on the other end coming back to the flag. That'll pose challenges tonight. One's a heavy braking corner, sweeping, like you said. The other one, definitely more of a, not quite wide open, but a much more higher momentum corner to complete that dogleg front straightaway. This is a racetrack unlike any other, in a location unlike any other, nestled in the mountains, just beside Rattlesnake Hill. Qualifying currently underway. Most drivers have taken a time. Here in about 10 seconds, we will name your Coastal Financial Pole Award winner as far as we can estimate. You drivers wrapping up their final laps. But let's get to it. Coastal Financial Pole Award winner for the final race of the season, none other than Championship 4 contender Rob the Rocket Raider. Our mission at Coastal Financial is to provide comprehensive financial planning solutions tailored to each individual's unique needs and goals, with the aim of empowering our clients to make informed financial decisions and achieve their financial potential. You can find us at coastalfinancial.com or on Facebook at Coastal Financial. Congratulations, Rob Raider, getting a step up on the competition here. Going to start on the pole for tonight's race. And now that we have finished all of our scheduled preamble, let's go have a chat with our Championship 4, starting off with Jeremy Burns. Jeremy down here in the broadcast booth. Jeremy, it's Morgan and Bradley up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
How is the Mountain Man feeling right now, just before we get set to fire off here at Phoenix?
Feeling pretty good, actually, starting second. So, feel pretty good. Got my teammate beside me, and looks like Grant's up here, and Carter's also up here a little bit farther back, though. So, just feel really good and ready to see who's going to take it home here at the end of these 156 laps.
Right on. So, next question for you here. So, Rob is the only driver to ever win a championship in this series. What would it mean for you, his probably closest competitor so far this season? You won a ton of races. What would it mean for you to add a championship to your resume, to your win column?
Somebody I looked up to Rob, and when I joined the league, and aspired to eventually beat him, it feels really good to be in that position for the second year in a row at a championship. To just would put the icing on the cake and would be something that I would celebrate for a long time. So I'm really looking forward to it. At the end of the day, I just hope one of us brings it home, but hopefully I'm the one ahead of him this time.
Absolutely. And next question here. As we focus on this race, what are your keys to success here at Phoenix?
We just can't make any early mistakes. Can't put ourselves behind the 8 ball. Execute on pit road. Execute on the restarts. Pay attention on the chews. And at the end of the day, do what you got to do to win it.
Awesome. And if you'll allow your mind to wander for just a moment, what is the first thing you would do if you win the championship tonight?
Probably go out and buy a new chair because it's kind of broken right now.
Always classy here, Jeremy Burns. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, Jeremy. Good luck here tonight, and we will we'll probably catch you sometime during this show, but good luck here at Phoenix.
Yes, sir. Thank you, boys.
All right, that was the first driver to lock themselves into the playoffs.
Morgan,
Jeremy
I know
Burns.
we're on a time crunch, but you have a camera with him. Can we see how broken that chair is real quick?
We sure could. Let's get that up on the screen here. Different scene, actually, not this one.
I got you. Well,
Later.
we'll have to get a look at that at some point.
Later. Let's get Rob Rader up here in the booth, since we are, in fact, on a schedule. Rob the Rocket Raider, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Morgan.
All right. Well, this is your 4th consecutive time in this position. Does it ever get old?
It doesn't ever get old, actually. It's great every single time. Look forward to it every year. This year was harder than ever, so I mean, I'm pretty pumped up for this one.
Awesome. And to compound on that, I mean, Phoenix is, I think you would probably say, your best racetrack, at least one of your best racetracks. I'm not asking for any secrets, but do you still have that magic sauce here tonight?
I think I do. Unfortunately, I think Jeremy Burns does also. So you don't have to take anything away from Carter or Grant, but Jeremy's going to be a force to be reckoned with tonight. Hopefully, I can stay ahead of him. Step one was to qualify ahead of him, accomplish that goal by 5 1,000ths. Now we just need to not let him by.
It definitely could not make it much closer than that for the Coastal Financial Pole Award this evening. Again, I'm not going to ask you for your secrets here, so I won't ask you for your keys to success. It's probably going to mirror Jeremy's and just not make mistakes. But what would 4 championships in a row mean to Rob Rader?
Well, it really would be awesome. I mean, we set out a couple years back, 2.5 years ago, to create Racing Revolution, and I've had so many people come and tell me that it's the best league they've taken part in. It's one of the most competitive leagues they've ever raced in, and that they love being here. And obviously, that's the number one goal. But to come out and win championships in an environment that people respect like that means a lot more than just going and winning a championship somewhere else. So it means a ton. With that said, I've won 3 of these already. We have 3 other really good people and good race car drivers that are in this final 4. So if anybody else wins tonight, I won't be disappointed. Any of these guys would be a good champion here for this league.
Awesome. 5-second question for you. Where do you keep all the trophies?
I have a trophy cabinet right behind me. I'll show you sometime.
Fantastic. That's Rob Rader, Championship 4 contender here tonight. All right. Next one on the list here is going to be Grant Thorpe. Let's get him up in the broadcast booth. Grant, it's Morgan and Bradley up in the booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you some similar questions I've asked the other 2. Have you been in the Championship 4 before?
I have not.
So what
First
are the
time.
emotions like today on a day where you can make some history here?
I mean, honestly, kind of the underdog here. Obviously Rob's 3-time defending champion. Burns has just been going nuts the last 2 seasons. So I feel like the pressure is more so on them to live up to that. Not a whole lot of expectations for myself from others, I don't think. Obviously, I'd love to surprise some people and win this thing. I think I'm capable of it. Might need a couple things to go my way, but overall, not terribly nervous, but just excited more than anything.
Right on. Glad to hear that. It's going to be a fun one tonight. I am absolutely sure of it. So as we get focused on the race and as you start to lock in probably right after this interview, what are your keys to success here at Phoenix? What is it going to be? What's going to be the key to put you potentially in the driver's seat to win the championship tonight?
Survive the transition on the dogleg. Survive people who didn't survive the transition on the dogleg. Hopefully they don't get cleaned out by someone wrecking. And just, I think a really big piece of it's gonna be saving tire, not overheating them over the race and just having to hang on the entire run.
And you have been arguably the best driver on strategy all season long. You got that win at Pocono earlier in the year due to strategy. What do you think there's any strategies in play at the start of this race that you can do to get off sequence from your championship 4 competitors? And do you want to if the opportunity presents itself?
I'm gonna kind of gonna play it by ear, I think. I don't, certainly in the first stage, there's not a whole lot of strategy to be had. Second stage, it's gonna kind of come down to whether a caution falls at the right time, and I'll kind of figure out then if there's a fuel mileage play that can be had. And I'll kind of be able to determine if I'm even even competitive on speed at that point. So gotta play it by ear, see what happens, and try to make the most out of the situation.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, Grant, and good luck tonight. So you can bring home a championship here at Phoenix.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
You
Have a good
bet.
one.
You bet. All right, now we're going to move on to our final driver in the championship 4, who's actually setting the pace here in this warm-up session. Carter Lynch, you got a copy?
Right here.
All right. Well, we got 2 minutes, so you can't go all short and sweet on me this time. What are your emotions as you prepare for this 156 lap battle at Phoenix?
Nerves are kind of high right now. I mean, I wouldn't be lying if I said I wasn't nervous right now. I mean, it's final race of the year. Everything's on the line. I mean, I just got to keep my head down after having kind of a poor qualifying session there, but just got to keep my head down and make my way back up to the front here.
All right. So Rob is the only champion that this league has ever seen. I'm sure you're aware of that. What would it mean for you to become the second and to get your first championship here in Racing Revolution?
Oh, it would mean the world. I mean, coming into this season, I mean, I wasn't even expecting to come in here and win Rookie of the Year, let alone make it Final Four. And come in here, apparently, I'm the first rookie that's made it to Final Four. It would be amazing to take it home. So,
Yeah, definitely, that would be quite an accomplishment. One for the record books here. I mean, it's been a great season for you. I mean, you won at Texas earlier in the season. You turned up the consistency later in the year, and you rolled to the playoffs. One to be reckoned with. I mean, just a great year for you. So, what do you need to do here tonight? You said you had a bad qualifying effort. What's it going to take to get up to the front and race for a chip here tonight at Phoenix?
it's really going to come down to how this race is going to play out. If we're going to have a couple cautions here at the start, and if we get a long green flag run, it's going to be a matter of, it's really going to be consistency is key. This track it really eats away at your tires, so it's going to be a matter of making them last as long as you can, and hopefully green flag run is going to be there, and try and keep that consistency there and stay ahead of everyone else.
Awesome. And now you can keep it short and sweet. If you're able to win tonight, what's the first thing that you're going to do once you win that championship?
I'm going to do the biggest burnout you'll see. I will throw it in as hard as I can. So
Awesome.
hopefully I'll be able to do that tonight.
Awesome. Well, we hope to see that as well. Good luck tonight, Carter.
Yeah, thank you.
And go get him. All right. That is. Yeah. Thank you. We thank him for his time. That is your championship 4. And we are just about to get to the grid one more time this season for the final time this season. Grid is on the way. Starting on the pole, Rob Rader, the Rocket, Championship 4 contender, just barely beating out his competitor Jeremy Burns, who will start alongside him on the front row. Third spot tonight. To start this race with James Loveland, V-Speed's very own. Love to see that. Trevor Keith going to start in 4th. 5th position, other Championship 4 contender Grant Thorpe in the 77. Christian Bresnock in the 00 will start in 6th. 7th tonight, Justice Murphy. Daniel Holloway alongside him, 7th and 8th. Rounding out your top 10, Carter Lynn's bad qualifying effort. Qualified 9th here tonight. Nick Alves will start in 10th.
Shout out to Tyler Harrison. He brought in V-Speed from the very start here and signed us up. He'll start in the 11th position. Alex Forget Berube will start for the 12th spot there in row number 6. Matt Robinson and Brandon Richardson will start in 13th and 14th. Then you have Michael Bennett and Parker Johnston in 15th and 16th. Travis Gilbert and Grant Turner, 17th and 18th position. And for your top 20, it's Michael Call and Caleb Gilbert.
Starting 21st tonight for your final 10, Dylan Picklesheimer will start in the 43 21st spot. Devin Hudgens starts 22nd. 23rd tonight, Joe Joya in the 17, Trevor Erhardt in 24th, driving that 41 machine. 25th tonight, Christopher Schaefer, Cameron King will start 26th. 27th will be Jackson McGeorge, Kevin Orlando Jr. to his outside, starting 28th. The last row on the grid, Kyle Diaz and Chris Nail, 29th and 30th, respectively. Let's get down to the grid track side. Here from high above this Phoenix Raceway, just getting the one to green. There are the front row and the rest of the field behind them. Let's have a chat about race analysis. Set the stage for your championship race. 156 laps tonight, half the distance of the Cup race we saw on Sunday. Pit road speed is 45 miles an hour, 6 tire sets available. Probably will use majority of those tonight. 3 green, white checker attempts, as far as I'm aware. 38 to 45 laps on fuel. Strategy will be important tonight. iRacing fixed setup as we become accustomed to here, and the stage will be at lap number 30. Pace car is off, but it's still about half a lap until we're green for the first time. One of the most unique racetracks, the way it's laid out in all of stock car racing. Field's gonna roll into turn number 3. A lot of nerves in this field right now. Green flag in the hand of the starter, and we are racing for the final time here at Phoenix. Lead lap 1, your pole sitter, Rob Rader. As him and Jeremy Burns have gapped this field half a second back to Trevor Keith.
Morgan, I don't know if you caught that there out of turns 1 and 2, but we almost had some 4 wide down that back stretch. It got really close there. These guys still fanning out, trying to shuffle around, and you're talking about 2 of the championship 4 that are kind of caught up in this.
Yeah, I see Linz in the 66 right there, and Thorpe just in front of him. Thorpe has managed to clear himself of all the mayhem back here. Carter Land's going to have to be very careful. So we've already got a driver well off the pace. Dylan Picklesheimer is around. No caution.
Off the edge of turn
he's
2.
He's on the racetrack. Surprising, no caution flew. Trevor Erhardt also having issues. He's falling back rapidly. 3 laps into this race already. Incidents for a few. Looks like we're all still racing, good to go here.
We got a battle for the lead here, Morgan. It looked like the 9 got right up to the back of the 53 there in the entry of 1 and 2. Right up on the back bumper there in the entry. He's going to peak again here into 3 and 4. Gives him a little nudge there in the entry of 3 and 4.
Little how do you do to the leader of the race. Battle for the championship right at the front of the field. I talked to Jeremy Burns earlier in the week. He said there was something about turn 1. He didn't say what it was, but he said that's where the speed is. That's where the secret sauce is. Oh, we got Loveland sliding. There we go.
That's the 02, and he saves it.
Able to save it. Good job there for B-Speed's very own. Back up to this battle for the lead. Burns had talked about something in turn 1. Didn't say what it was, but that's the secret sauce. That's where the speed is here at Phoenix. So I'm curious to see kind of what these two do differently than everybody else to make turn 1 a little bit better than the rest of the racetrack.
I can tell you this, it's similar, and I've compared it before here on V-Speed about Pocono, how every one of these corners is different. That's why I compare it to that. And so from the way these guys are getting around right now, you're not going to be good in all 3 sections of this racetrack. You have to adapt and overcome for your worst point, and then almost embrace what you're doing in your best part of the racetrack. You can see right here out of 1 and 2, the 9 look to the inside again as we dance. We're actually looking back here around the 10th position, 13th position. Nick Alves just ahead, or just behind there. There's the 02, who Loveland lost a little bit of positions. But they're fanning out, cutting this tri-oval. You got to embrace where you're good on this racetrack, Morgan.
And Burns has got to the inside. Looks like 1 and 2 is where Jeremy Burns is a little bit better than Rader. Maybe entry of 1, Rader better on the exit of 2. So 53 is going to leg it out a little bit here into turn number 3. But you're exactly right. With how different this racetrack is, you're not going to be good at all 3 parts. We're talking turns 1 and 2, turns 3 and 4, and the dog leg. You got to prioritize. You're going to have to rank them. You know, where do you need to be the best? Where can you give a little bit of time away? And these drivers, it looks like trying to prioritize turns 1 and 2. A lot more options out there. See Justice Murphy, apologies, got in the outside wall just a little bit there off of turn number 2. No damage on those chrome numbers. Still as shiny as ever. Diaz around. So is Orlando
in the
Jr.
back.
Still no caution on the speedway. Interesting.
This might trigger a yellow.
There it
yes,
is.
it will.
There it is. Also got to point out, new look on that 27. It's not the yellow and green. It's the was it cranberry? Yeah, cranberry blitz. Fantastic. Anyway, let's go have a look at what caused this incident. Well, they're already wrecking. So we can get from a higher
Say
view
somebody
here.
got into the wall here, Morgan.
I think you're right about that. Let's go back a little further. On board, Orlando Jr. 3 wide in front of him. Never want to see that here at Phoenix. We see McGeorge went up. Oh, that's it right there. A couple cars had to slow down, and unfortunately, drivers behind them could not get slowed fast enough. It caused a few drivers to take some early damage repairs. I don't think anyone has too significant of damage. Luckily here, 11 laps in to this race. Some drivers on pit road, namely the ones involved in that accident, 24th to the lead, have stayed on the racetrack. Joya, Erhardt, Picklesheimer, Orlando Jr., Diaz, and Nail on pit lane right now. Well, short stint to start this race, Bradley. 12 laps. What did you see out there that has you excited for the rest of this event?
What I'm seeing right now is 2 of the championship 4 have pulled away from this field. They seem to be on a little bit different level. What I'm interested to see, though, later is how much this track will change. It's dynamic, as is everything here on iRacing. And so as we progress through this run, does Rob Rader, Jeremy Burns have that same success on these restarts? They're also going to be starting with some preheated tires. They're going to go through one of those heat cycles. And so discipline as a driver, keeping in mind that you've already been through one of those heat cycles, how do you change your approach to this next stint? We also have a stage here around, I believe, lap 30. So that doesn't count so much as for points as it did in the regular season, but now it's one of those situations where the yellow will come out, and do you come down pit road? Do you want to adapt to that situation?
Absolutely right there, and for the final time this season, we have the choose cone rule in effect here at Phoenix. Drivers able to pick if they want to start on the inside or the outside. Most, it's like the top 2 are going to take the inside. Thorpe's going to gain a few spots and go to the high line. Carter Lynn's going to be inside of row 3, so the championship 4 are all together. Trevor Keith, the only one up there, not in that championship 4. Not even 10% of the way through this race. We've already seen the championship 4 flex their muscle. I think we'll see this a lot tonight. Into the restart zone. After the first caution of the day, Rader's going to launch. Burns right on his tail. They will clear by the time they get to the start-finish line. Now, Chris Nail came out just in front of this group. I think he's
sideways for the 8.
8 is around. Off the racetrack, no caution.
I think he had a little help there, Morgan.
More than likely. Battle for the 4th position. Lins cuts the dog leg. Thorpe elects not to. Big roll of turn number 1 for the 77. He might get the momentum off the corner. I think he not quite clear of Carter Lins. It's the 15. Trevor Keith right in front of him. Pit
So
road exit
watching
here.
Grant Thorpe right now, he's worked his way into the top 5. He's battling. We've got 2 separate battles here for the final 4. 4th and 5th position, 1st and 2nd. But you're starting to see the other 2 of this group work their way towards the front of the field.
That's right. Thorpe is up 1 from his 5th place starting spot. Carter Linz has gained 9 from 9th. Right on board with Justice Murphy. Caught the wall earlier, no ill effects. On this number 12, all about bugs. Machine. Gotta paint that yellow line. Caught the wall again right there. And Robinson all over the back bumper. And look at Travis Gilbert, already gained 9 positions. Where he started in 17th, been one of the fastest drivers all season. Had a chance last week in Martinsville before it all went away. About 100 laps to go. We're looking to win this race and think about what could have been Travis Gilbert. We saw a car hit the wall pretty hard back there. Grant Turner got a pretty big piece of it. There's a look at the 39. Been one of the more gracious drivers with the driver cams all year. Appreciate him having a driver cam for us each and every week. We may not have shown it every week, but he was there. Gotta thank him for that. Still driving on the surface of the sun. Love to see it. Been a great season here on Racing Revolution's Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series.
These statistics here, Morgan, and for 34 races that we've covered here this season, looking at the season finale, you talked about Grant Turner, you talked about Travis Gilbert, and I mean, just go through all of these stats, the win percentages, the top 5s, how you accumulate statistics. But looking at this final 4 here, who stands out the best to you based off of these stats? Because I'm looking right now at the top 2 in positions right now on this track and top 2 on these stats. It's going to be close. I can't pick a winner here.
I know that Rob Rader has owned this racetrack for the last 3 years. He won here in the spring. He was the first to cross the line, I should say. He did not technically win that race. That one was encumbered. But he had the fastest car, dominated in the spring. So I would expect 53, obviously he's led every lap so far, all 22 of them. I would expect him, except Burns to the inside now, so making me eat my words just a little bit here live on V-Speed. All over the back bumper. Burns still pressuring.
He's keeping him honest. That's what you got to do here. If you want a championship, how bad do you want it? You got to keep him every single lap you can. Right on the back bumper, Thorpe and Linz. The final 4 in the top 4 now.
Don't look now, but the other 2 have joined the party. They both worked around that blue chrome diamond machine of Trevor Keith. Oh, big wiggle there for the 12. He pancaked the right side. Might have damage on it this time. Still doesn't. Not a scratch on the 12.
That was a big pinch there into 3 as well, Morgan. He's going to get close to the outside wall out of 4, go across that line. Cuts the dog leg, but yeah, it's been a struggle through 1 and 2 for the 12 so far.
Having trouble getting the power down, little contact there, a little door bang, and Travis Gilbert and Justice Murphy. 2 drivers who had their hopes dashed last week in Martinsville. Trevor Keith right in front of him in that same boat, had a chance to win before the instant limit caught up to him with about 3 laps remaining.
So it's a fine time here, Morgan, to say that we have a poll up in the chat right now. Who will win the final spot there? We have our final 4 up in that poll. Go ahead and cast your votes. Welcome in everybody that's in the V-Speed chat right now. Just click up there at the top of the chat. Cast your vote. Right now it's 33%. We've got to vote 1 each for Burns, Rader, and Linz. Grant Thornton needs some love. Let's make it 25% even across the board.
I love participation here in these polls. Thank all the fans here who watch V-Speed, race in and race out, never miss a Wednesday event. Appreciate every single one of you. making this thing happen. And little plug while we're at it. We have a battle for the lead, actually. Jeremy Burns got to the outside of Rob
side
Rader.
by side.
I think Burns led that lap. Yes, he did.
Yeah, by like 3/1000ths of a second, he led that lap.
As they chase down the lap car of Kyle Diaz. Currently 1 lap down, first and only driver.
They
lap
are
down.
going at it.
They are.
It's so tight off the 3.
Unbelievable stuff here. As what will the Dirty Air do to the 9?
He almost lost back in there for a second.
So Raider getting loose as well. Yeah, absolutely a dogfight up here at the front, but they're still pulling away. Grant Thorpe. Let's see what.
Almost second. Back to third here.
What is second place Rob Raider doing? Try and catch Jeremy Burns.
We've all been in this situation, Morgan. I think right now for Rob, he's just going to sit back and let this lap car take care of itself, then go back on offense. You don't want to put both of you in a situation where things can go wrong. So probably going to let Jeremy Burns navigate around this 26 car before he goes back. But it looks like he's pushing it here out of 3 and 4.
We talked to Jeremy earlier in the show. He said, got to make sure you win it for the team. First things first, get Element X their championship, meaning it's one of Burns or Raider, and then worry about making sure that you're the driver to do it. Don't take both of you out of it very Penske-like, finish 1-2, and then just try and be the one that comes out on top. But first and foremost, do it for the team.
So overall, I think early in this race, it's easy to talk about
you got
teammates, but
contact.
you got a whole season.
Oh, he pushed him into Burns. Around goes the 26 into the. Oh my goodness! Just about took out the
front
other.
of Linz. In
Wow.
front of Thorpe.
Oh wow! How did they avoid that? Okay.
All of your championship 4 was almost in an incident.
They almost wiped every one of them out. Let's go back and watch that one first from the onboard of Carter Linz, then from the onboard of Rob Raider. See, there goes the spinning 26. Is he going high? Is he going low? Wow. Oh, he almost came back and got the 66. Took out, looks like, Bennett
in the back there.
and Robinson as well. Let's go check it out from Rob Raider, what he saw off of the roof.
And that happened right around the stage break. I believe they were coming by to get that stage.
I think you're right about that. And yeah, just miscommunication of who was lifting when, and into the back of the 26. Goes Rob Raider. Back to stuff here, and you probably won't be surprised. There was one driver who stayed out on the racetrack, and I bet chat knows exactly who I'm going to pan to. Let's get the information up on the screen. It is, in fact, Grant Turner. Grant the Toes Turner does this all the time. Stays out, gets that extra point, trying to be 5th in points. First driver not in the top 4 to make it. Back up front, Burns won the race off pit road over Raider. Thorpe and Linz still right behind them in, when they cycle out here, 3rd and 4th position. So the guaranteed breaks are over. The stage has been won by Jeremy Burns. Now, got to settle in. 120 odd laps. And at the end of that, one of the front 4 will be a champion. Either for the 4th time or for the 1st time. What are the nerves like right now, Bradley? You've run many of these races. You've run for championships before. What are the nerves like for these front 4, knowing that so far so good, but there's still a lot of racing left and things happen very quickly, as we just saw at the end of that stage?
Oh, nerves are through the roof. And with that caution happening right there in front of those top 4, you had Raider getting to the back of the 26, who got into Burns, who spun in front of Thorpe and Linz. That didn't help at all. The anxiety of everything that could go wrong, you rehearse it in your head. You come down to these final races, Morgan, and you know how it is. You've raced for championships as well. you try to rehearse everything you can do right, but then in the back of your mind the whole time is, well, I got to be in this situation, or what can go wrong on this lap? Who's going to be my rival? Where am I starting? Can I get a good qualifying effort? So many things. And even now they add the choose code here. You can make a mistake there, choose the wrong lane, get a bad restart. So many variables through these races, and we're not even a third of the way through this event.
Yeah, absolutely right. And for me, it was always, you just have to try and put it all outside. Make a goal for yourself, right? Obviously, the goal is to win the championship, but you don't have to win the race to do that. Oftentimes, you very well may have to tonight. But be realistic about what you have to do and what you might want to do. If you don't need to go up there and pass that guy, don't. If you can ride where you are and win the championship, just do that. Don't throw it away because your ego tells you to. That's been a big lesson for me. What's that, Brad?
I believe the phrase you're looking for is set your expectations low and you'll never be disappointed.
Not exactly. But more like just be realistic with the situation around you. Don't take yourself out of it. Don't beat yourself. All of those cliches that we've heard so many times in sports.
Right.
As long as you do everything you can do, it'll probably work out the best that it can. And that's just the way racing works, right? So we'll reset here. Pace lights out on the pace car. Top 2 rows. All Championship 4 drivers. You got Element X on the inside with Burns and Raider outside them. You got Thorpe and Linz. Very hungry. Third row behind them with the 22 and the 15. Gilbert and Keith trying to make some noise here in this championship race.
Got a bit of a parlay here for Grant Thorpe. 9% chance, according to the V-Speed odds, for this restart.
Let's see it unfold in real time. Burns on the loud pedal, got to get a push from his teammate, and they are again going to clear. They got an inside line working. Perfection.
Well, that was a countdown if I've ever saw one, Morgan. Those two jumped out to the inside and pulled away almost 2/10 on the inside line.
Don't look now, and here comes the 22. 4 wide, a little further back in the field. I don't like this at all.
They're going to hold it together.
Got Gilbert on the inside, Schaefer in the middle, Richardson on the outside. Middle lane backing up a little bit. As they are still unable to sort this out. Looks like we're flossing. Oh, we got a boom crash. Massive crash. Picklesheimer. That thing is blown up. It's not blown up. Wow.
No. He bounced the wall with the left front, but able to get it back underway.
I thought I saw the magic smoke leave. It stays put in the engine compartment, but that was a big hit for driver 43.
It was. Inside pit wall, hard with the left front.
Trying to cut the dog leg here, and just never really had it under control.
Yeah.
And up in the air, big contact. Pretty much have to watch this one from the onboard.
Yeah, I think he's losing it coming out of 4 before he even cuts that dog leg. And, that transition on the apron probably didn't help alleviate any of that. Probably made it worse. You're going to see him drop to the bottom here, and I think he's turning to the right the whole time.
Yeah, right there it starts to get free. I don't know if that was as much he wanted to go down to the apron as much as the car took him down to the apron. Regardless, that is going to be our third caution here tonight. So far in this race, 1 lead change when Burns took it from Raider. That has been the only change for position up at the front of the field. But don't look now, all you Travis Gilbert fans. He has joined the front 3, currently in the 3rd spot. We never did talk about the beautiful weather here in Arizona. 93 degrees on the racetrack right now. 80 ambient. Be a nice day to sit on Rattlesnake Hill, watch a race, sit in the grandstands.
Get a sunburn.
Hey, whatever works. It's part of the experience. I've I've been to 2 daytime NASCAR races, and I've got a sunburn at both of them. So I think that's just part of it.
Yes, absolutely. I was at Indianapolis. Sun wasn't even out. Remember, it rained the entire time for the 500. Delayed that race. Still got a sunburn in the infield.
That's just
Good
how
times.
it works sometimes. Let's do a quick recap of where everyone is at in this race as we just hit the choose. Not hitting the choose this time, apologies. Burns, your leader. Led 14 laps so far.
Oh, he's adjusting that chair. It's broke.
It's broke. It's done. Needs to buy a new one after this. Championship or not. Second spot. Currently.
Pop it up with that trophy, I think.
I think he will. Rob Rader right behind him. Trying to get the lead back. Led 25 laps so far. Travis Gilbert up from 17th. Crazy drive through the field for the 22. 4th spot, Grant Thorpe, Championship 4 contender. Been up at the front for this entire race. Trevor Keith hanging around in the 5th position. And Carter Lynn's the final of the Championship 4, currently in 6th. 7th spot, Justice Murphy in the 12. 8th is Alex Forget, who we haven't talked about at all yet today, up 4 spots, making his move. James Loveland back from his 3rd place starting spot after getting loose off in turn 2. And Christian Bresnock from 6th down to 10th. And that is your top 10 as they run here at Phoenix, 40 laps in.
So we are with the
underway.
choose.
Yeah, races won or lost at the choose, absolutely. And for the first
Well, look
time,
how
we have a new front row guest. 22 joins it. You were saying, Bradley?
I was just going to say, look how much that choose cone dictated the last restart, how Rader and Jeremy Burns were able to pull away. Now it's the 22 on the outside, but that shook up. Those top 4 in points were top 4 in that restart, and you had Trevor Keith get in between there. Grant Thorpe got back to 4th, but it took a minute. And then you have Carter Lenz. He's going to restart 7th, so it really shook up there. We're on fresh tires for the most part. We really haven't got a heat cycle this time around. But I think with the choose cone and these teammates on the inside, it's going to be tough to beat them.
Definitely. You're going to have to roll a little bit of momentum into the zone, but not past that leader. You just have to be able to guess right. You're probably not going to be able to. You just have to minimize the damage by having that forward momentum. If you try to gas it up and you miss it and you have to lift, now you're in big trouble and you've lost a number of spots. And it's such a difficult thing to be able to restart, especially here at Phoenix.
This track's difficult in its own right here, Morgan, as we get set for lap 50 or 43. I tell you what, this inside line on this restart, 22, he can match him here. It's just a matter of where do you predict when they are going to go. A little connection issue. Hopefully that clears up, but I think we're going to see a better restart than last time.
One thing I do want to mention, that outside lane is able to roll 5 miles an hour faster than the inside lane to keep up on racetracks like this. So that makes it a little bit easier for the outside line to keep pace, but when you're blinking out like that, it's going to be tough to do anything with it. Inside lane goes. Rader dictates the start. They're off again.
Not a good start.
I still don't know where the 22 is. Blinking all over the place here. 3 wide, he's going to get turned.
Oh, he's sideways.
22 just got turned, somehow saves it. Oh, there goes the 45. Around goes
That's a
Harrison.
connection issue.
It absolutely is. Absolutely is, and that costs the 45 and the 98, in fact. They're good runs to start the day. And we saw where it started, or at least we saw where it potentially started. Couldn't actually see it, of course, with the connection issue, but let's go back and see where the 45 got turned around. See, he's got hit in the back by Call. Nothing any of those drivers could do. Oh, right in front of the 41. It seems to be in the wrong place, the wrong time these last 8 or so weeks. Let's go back a bit of a higher view here. From the restart. Fans out here. And then in front of him, there you see the car, the smoke at least, checks up, and just too many people in the same place to be able to slow down properly. Around goes the 45.
At the 41, I believe Trevor Erhardt got pinned up against the wall there.
Yeah, definitely. And Gilbert has brought it down pit lane. That's Travis Gilbert, of course, the 22, having the connection issues. Yeah, Gilbert still struggling here. There he is.
Yeah, we're having struggles with the cameras on him.
Yeah.
And that connection is definitely not cooperating with him.
Yeah, not quite right.
Again, reminder, I know you've done it this November already, but if you would like to go ahead and vote one more time here, it's sitting here with Carter Lentz at 25%. Burns is getting a run for his money. I know that we talked about the Final Four here, Morgan, but we're seeing kind of a tide, kind of a swing of momentum here in the chat, and I'm kind of excited about it.
Should we coin that one, love for Linz? Is that what we got going on here?
Oh, love for Linz, yeah.
Love for Linz. Look at that. Running in fourth, able to stay up here. He has not let the top two get out of his sight by any stretch. Trevor Keith being a little pesky right now in front of him, but great racing up at the front of the field so far here today. Since we have this golden opportunity, if you haven't already, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a moment of the racing action that you can't get anywhere else. Of course, this series exclusive here on V-Speed, can't find it anywhere else on the internet. Appreciate Racing Revolution, Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series for having us all season long. Bradley Cooper, I've been Morgan Cook. It's been a great one so far this season, and so far tonight. 46 laps in to 156.
I gotta say that the action here so far, we still don't have a definitive answer or reason to pick any said driver. There is so much going on in the back of this field. Drivers, having connection issues or maybe just not a good day for them. And so for your Final Four still being up here in the top 10, Trevor Keith has kind of been the asterisk. Does he go up here and mix this up and take away a win and make it one of those situations, whoever finishes best, not necessarily who wins the race?
That is definitely possible. This is one of the absolute top leagues that I've ever seen in terms of just parity across the league. I don't know how many winners we had this season. I'm sure you can find that out here under this next run, but I'd have to imagine it was double digits. I mean, just a great season, many drivers in position to win races. Trevor Keith was one of those, as well as Grant Thorpe. Obviously, Burns and Rader have won a lot. Linz has got one. List goes on. It's been a great season all the way throughout, top to bottom. Another perfectly timed restart on the bottom. Burns and Rader are going to get away. Oh, there goes Thorpe. Grant Thorpe. Backs into the outside wall.
Does he get help again here? Almost.
That was close. That is going to put him at a massive disadvantage. Now back to 21st position. That's as easy as it is to make a mistake here at Phoenix. Just a little too much momentum into the corner. And around went the 77, half slide from the outside wall. No damage I can see. But that is going to make his climb to the front so difficult. Still top four single filed out. First battle. In fact, now the entire top 10, 15 single file out. Back to 13. We have our first battle. Candyman.
The answer you were looking for. It was 14 different winners here, Morgan.
14 different winners. Unbelievable parity this season has seen, this series has seen. Been a fun one. Like I said, I cannot rave enough about how great this league has been all year long. We're seeing it again tonight.
We're seeing two of the top winners in this series leading 1-2 right now. And the three-time trying to take away the lead after starting up front by 4/1000ths of a second. Looks like Rob Rader is struggling a little bit here. Trevor Keith back on the rear bumper for second.
Yeah, about a tenth faster that time was Burns than Rader. Trevor Keith actually equaling Burns' lap time that time by. And Lynn's doing exactly the same thing. These front four, I said Lynn's on the outside wall just a bit. See Bresnock and a few others hit it as well. Oh, car out of shape. Richardson nailed the inside wall. Gonna pull back in front of the field here. I think the left front suspension
25th.
is a little bit damaged there on the 8. Yeah, he's struggling.
Oh, wow.
Can barely turn that car. Oh, another one right there.
He's going to have to bring it down pit road for sure, Morgan.
Definitely will. Toe is knocked out of it. Broke a toe link more than likely, and that is not going to help his day at all. Already been around once in the
that
8.
left front is toast.
Having a Kyle Busch-esque season as a big Kyle Busch fan himself. I feel the pain. I really do.
Yeah, you're a Kyle Busch fan, are you not?
I am. Yeah, it hurts. Still does.
It stings a little bit.
It really does.
Well, you can join the V-Speed chat here. They're all Jeremy Burns fans, and he's leading this race, so I think it's a good wagon to get on right now, the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. This final race is coming down to the wire. We have about 100 to go here, Morgan, and it's starting to get a little standoffish. Burns has pulled out to about half a second now over Rob Rader.
Yeah, biggest lead we've seen by anybody today, about that half-second gap. Trevor Keith keeping him honest. As we have fallen about 4/10 off the pace, the fast lap today. Tires not really a factor so far here. 24 laps into this run. Let's bring up that race analysis again. Just remind everybody, we can go between 38 and 45 laps on fuel, half the capacity that they normally have here. Try and mix up the strategy a little bit, see some green flag pit stops potentially, and we're getting fairly close to that number here. Probably in the next 20 or so, maybe 25 with all the cautions. Might be seeing drivers hit the road for the first time.
Yeah, we're sitting here at 25 on the stint. I would say probably add on about 7 to 10 laps there because of those yellow flags. But if you're Jeremy Burns right now, you're not thinking about that. You're looking and focusing on that clean air in front of you. No one's around. You're continuing to pull away from your teammate. You can see him there, calm, cool, and collected. And whether or not that chair is broken right now, he doesn't even care about that. He's going to continue on, drives into the dog leg, cuts the bottom of that tri-oval. Phenomenal drive thus far. Still waiting. The 77. We have to talk about him. He's part of that 4. Falls back outside of the top 20 there briefly. He's back up to 16th now.
Unbelievable drive. He lost. He gained 5 spots here in the last few laps. I mean, it's been a great drive. Rebounding for Grant Thorpe, and he's going to need every bit of that speed here to get back up to the front.
With those V-Speed odds, I think we're setting up for a parlay here. I think we're going to raise the rate a little bit here, probably to 16,000 to 1 right now. That's 16th place. We'll go with that.
I question if you know what a parlay is, Bradley. You said that word a few times, and I don't think you actually know what that means.
No idea.
That's
I just know it makes you a lot of money.
Yes, they can. They can also lose you a lot of money. Gamble responsibly. Anyway, 11th spot here. Matt Robinson, the Aloe Barber shop number 1. Just us at the top 10, trying to get another one this season. Been an up and down year. We had a great race at Bristol, that just chaotic playoff Bristol race. A few good runs since then as well. But the one that showed up to a ton of races this year, glad to see it. Doing his sponsor proud. I believe based in Ithaca, New York, if I'm not mistaken. If you find yourself in Ithaca, definitely make sure to stop by Aloe Barber Shop. Grants racing together. Thorpe just past Turner. That was for 15th position. Grant Thorpe up to 14th now as he gets by the fading Owls. Let's have a look at Nick here on the driver cam. '16th position. The driver right now chases down Grant the Toes Turner.
So you can do all 10 toes for a parlay. I think it's more than one bet. I think now I understand.
Goodness gracious. We're learning here. Live on B-Speed. You guys are witnessing it at home. Bradley learns how to gamble.
This is not investment advice.
Definitely not investment advice. We're offset 4 wide here. Look at the racing here at Phoenix. I mean,
That was tight.
Definitely like a lot of argument about it. This should be the final 4 racetrack. This should be the championship is decided. So far tonight, put on a great show from the front of the field with Burns and Raider all the way back through the field. We're currently riding with the 16th or so place drivers right now. It's hard to pass. You got to set up your passes, and it's just a fun racetrack. Just a fun one here at Phoenix.
But it can be a very frustrating race, and as you watch here deep in this field, you can see how the patience can wear thin. We've already seen here with the 27 that we're watching right now how your race can get you reset. You can go back to the back of this field very easily. A few drivers already tonight, such as Kevin Orlando Jr., who have been set back deep in this field, probably not wanting to interfere too much here, but you could argue this is one of those drivers during the regular season that you thought was favored to be part of this Final Four.
Yeah, he made it deep in the playoffs and just did not have the playoffs he needed to carry his way through. Was not able to get a win in any of those playoff races, and unfortunately found himself out. Now just has to run the rest of these races. This final one, just running for pride at this point. No points on the line. Team championship's already locked up, and now he's just out here trying to finish these final 90 or so laps before we head into the offseason.
We're talking about the percentages. The top 5, 16% for Kevin Orlando. To get into the Final Four, you needed a 29% or better to get in there over these course of races. That statistic in itself, that's how consistent you have to be. You have to be up in the top 10, 39% on top of that. So it's very, very tight every single week. And we're talking about a matter of tenths of a second as you watch that lead grow to a full second out of turns 3 and 4.
I mean, we talked about earlier in the show how the parity's been unreal. 14 winners this season. Been a great season that way. You also got to remember, there's been 2 drivers who have won a combined like 17 races. Might have to check that, Bradley. Talking about Raider and Burns. Won almost half the races this year, maybe even over half the races this year.
9 and 8. Yes.
Yeah, so 17.
9 for Burns.
And we still have 14 winners, so you can dominate and have parity at the same time. It's been just a really crazy season when it comes to the results. I mean, Burns is putting on one of the best seasons I have ever seen in any league. Average start, something like 3.8. Average finish is like 6.7, if I'm not mistaken. I think I got those right. You might want to fact check me on that, Brad. But it's been just a dominant season for driver number 9, and Raider is right there behind him, not too far back. Still in the top 8 for average finish. Average starts dropped a little bit in the last few weeks, but I mean, he's won 8 or 9 times this year, so definitely not a bad season either. There's Trevor Keith all over the back bumper for second.
Well, that's another driver that you need to talk about there with Trevor Keith. How much did he do this season? Yeah, 1 win, but go back to his statistics and what he was able to put together. His average finish was 12th throughout the season. His average start was 10. So very consistent, top 10 driver, 40% chance that he's going to get a top 5. That its own right is that you're going into these final however many races to break this down, and then you go to the Final Four. it's almost a win and you're in situation with how competitive it was this season.
Absolutely right about that. We just closing in on pit stops here, so I was checking pit road. Just saw Cameron King at the pit lane. He will now go 2 laps down. And that's the bit of the struggle to change topics a little bit. Sorry, apologies about that, Brad. To change topics a little bit here, towards the pit stops, we're within about 10 laps, 15 laps of pitting. You got to be careful, though. You don't want to, if you're one of these champions before, you don't want to be the first driver on pit road. A caution comes out here, 2 laps down, instantly, you're going to have a hard time recovering from that big of a deficit. What do you do as a driver, Bradley? You talk about your experience. How do you figure out your pit strategy to minimize risk the best you can?
Well, I have no idea on pit strategy at this point. I mean, everything I know is a lie based off of Dover last week. Well, I would say that right now you don't want to blink first. And for Burns, he's in a better spot because he's out front. You see Trevor Keith challenging now on Rob Rader. But I don't think you want to blink first. You just want to run this stand as long as you can, run it out of fuel if you have to, and pit with the guys that you're competing against. Carter Lenz is on the same page, but if you're the 77 or Grant Thorpe, an undercut could benefit you in the short run. If you can get back out there and let these pit stops cycle through, maybe you end up in that top 5, and then you kind of pray for a caution.
Yeah,
It's a weird spot for everybody.
Definitely. For those curious, the pace has fallen off about 9/10 of a second, 1 second, somewhere in that area. So the undercut would be possible. Currently, Grant Thorpe is about 6.7 seconds back of your leader. You see him on the ticker there in 14th position. Jeremy Burns leads by 1.2 over Rob Rader. Trevor Keith right on the back bumper at the 53, about 2/10 behind.
Lead continues to grow, Morgan. It's stretched out to 1.2 seconds. That clean air has been very beneficial here to the Chapman Environmental Services number 9 of Jeremy Burns. And you watch it, he's not cutting aggressively. He's running his own line. He's doing what he needs to do. But that's what clean air gives you. You can run the racetrack and not the cars around you.
Absolutely. This is one of those tracks where we mentioned at the top of the show a couple times about how you have to be able to prioritize different areas of the racetrack. Being out front by over a second allows you to really prioritize if it's turn 1, if it's the dogleg, if it's turn 3, whatever it is. You can focus solely on that, look in the mirror and say, I don't have any pressure behind me. Go out here, log laps, think about strategy, and look forward.
Now we're in that window of pit stops. I would say probably within the next 5 to 7 laps, you're going to see some of this top 5 come into pit road. Carter Lenz has worked his way back up to 4th. Alex Forget-Berube up into the top 5. I know we've been talking a lot about this top 4 in points, but respectively, drivers that have won races in races that I broadcasted, I got a shout out there to Alex Forget for being in this top 5. He's ahead of James Loveland, Justice Murphy, a lot of names that I've talked about in the brief coverage I had here at Racing Revolution.
I believe you covered, 2, 3 of the, I think 2 races that we've had so far this season. Again, just I can't speak to how, I can't say enough about how great this season has been, how welcoming all the drivers have been to everyone here at V-Speed, whether it's been myself, whether it's been Bradley or Logan broadcasting these and bringing these races to you. The fans as well, all the positive things you've had to say, and the constructive criticism as well. It's just been a lot of fun over these last 40 weeks to bring this racing to you every Wednesday night.
Shout out to you, Morgan, for sticking it through. I mean, 34 races, 35 now. It's a long season as we see some cars. Grant Thorpe down pit road here. Looks like the undercut maybe going to go into effect for the 77.
And this is the first shot across the bow, if you will. Top 3 not going to pit this time. I don't see anybody in the top 20 pulled down to pit. Travis Gilbert still having some connection issues. See him blinking a little bit here and there out the timing table. Just focus on Trevor Keith. Let's see if he's going to bring it down pit road. He's going to bring it down pit road. Look at that.
Oh, he's sideways a little bit there.
Spoken into existence. Buzzers.
So I got to ask you, though, now that we see this. The pressure's off of Rob Rader, but that lead continues to grow for Burns. What do you do here, Morgan? I think I'm going to stay out a lap longer if possible compared to the 9 because he's pulling away on even tires.
Yeah, that's a tough one, Bradley, I'll tell you. So we've only got, we're already over the estimated run length, right? When that was 50, we're already at 51. Of course, caution's going to play into that. So we can't have that many more laps to go here. I'm thinking only maybe 5, 6 at the most. I think maybe the 89's out of fuel possibly. It's a big wiggle there through that area. I'd just pit with Burns this time. Keep in touch. Make sure you can see him. Oh, Rader's going to come down right now, in fact. Everything I just said, throw it out the window. 53 on pit road. So is Burns. Aggressive entry. Wow. 0.6 is the gap between first and second, at least in the championship 4 right now.
Brave entry into pit road.
It was. That was brave. That was Kyle Larson at Homestead last year-esque. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, he got the barrels a little bit.
Almost Kyle Larson in the Indy 500.
Oh, man. Oh, the 48 hurt the pit entry of the 53. Who's going to get out first? Holloway is going to take the lead here. The Candyman, Daniel Holloway. Missed the playoffs just barely. First driver out, if I'm not mistaken, at Richmond. Stays out on the racetrack. Looks like Burns going to get off pit road first with a great exit. He's now 2 seconds ahead of Rob Rader. There's a look at the 53 right there. Got to turn up the wick. They're currently running 9th and 10th. Third. Now many drivers a lap down. Burns works up to 4th. Rader right behind him as drivers hit pit road. 3 stayed out. Holloway. McGeorge. Devin Hudgens, who's on pit road at the moment. Everyone else has hit pit road. Every driver from 7th on back, or 6th on back now is a lap down. Slowly coming off the board.
Lead came down a little bit here. We'll cycle out after these pit stops. It'll be Jeremy Burns at the point. You see the 43 cuts through that corner, but for Rob Rader, he's chasing the 9. 1.6 seconds now. Gotta wonder, based off of how he's turning these lap times, is he burning his stuff up early in this run?
I think that's the risk you have to take, though. You need to get up to the 9 or else he's just going to set sail again. So you got to pressure him. You got to make him a little uncomfortable. I think that's the only way that you're going to be able to beat Jeremy Burns today. And Rader's been the closest one to doing that. He's the only driver who's been able to hang with him in terms of lap time for more than 10, 15 laps. Trevor Keith is second behind in 3rd. And Loveland, another 1.6 back, and the battle is on for 5th as Carter Linz trying to get by D-Speed's very own James Loveland.
Or with Carter Linz, and it's been a relatively quiet championship race for him. He's maintained this top 10. He's been in the top 5 a couple times here today. But for Linz right now, I think it's a matter of how bad do you want it? Do you push yourself? You got to reach deep down here and go up and race with Burns and Rader. We haven't seen that from the other two. Unfortunately for the 77, he's kind of been shuffled out of this situation, but Linz still has a hope here. He needs to get with the program here and get up to the tail end of that 53.
When you talk about the 77 being shuffled out, he's only an 8. He's only 2 spots behind Carter Linz, so he is pretty much rebounded.
Well, that's the undercut too.
That's true. It is only compared to the leaders. It's 4 laps to Burns and Rader, 2 laps. Sorry, also 4 laps to Linz, 2 laps to drivers racing around. I don't know if 4-lap older tires at Phoenix are going to be the end of the world like they would be at, say, in Atlanta, old Atlanta, not new Atlanta, or a Darlington, or so. I think you'll be able to maintain here, as the lap times are still looking pretty good for the 77 in comparison to those drivers. We're going to see
Still
here,
making
though.
passes.
He is. Still moving forward. And that's what you got to do here. Justice Murphy, the next one in front of him in the 12, and Forget right behind him, aggressively so, running the extreme high line here in 3 and 4.
So what I worry about here for Thorpe is wind of those tires. I think he's at the even stage right now. Just ahead here of Alex Forget, Berube. They're coming off a 3 and 4. You can see for the 19, he gets a little bit better run off of these exits. I think we're on the other side now for Thorpe, as you're about 13 laps into this stint now. I think you're going to start seeing the 77 fall off. I don't think it's going to be terrible. They'll probably be close to the top 10. But for a lot of these guys, Linz and Thorpe, they're going to have a caution probably to even them back out on tires here.
A little housekeeping. Jackson and George's hit pit road. The pit cycle is complete. Jeremy Burns retakes the lead by 1.5 over Rob Rader. Trevor Keith another 1.2 back, then another second to Loveland, 9/10 to Carter Linz. That's your top 5, about 5 seconds behind the race leader. Other great battles on the racetrack. Let's take a look back here at 17th position. Grant Turner, Kevin Orlando Jr., Parker Johnston. This trio putting on a show. Down here to turn
Kevin Orlando. I mean, how about his recovery here? He was back outside of the top 20, got caught up in a wreck very, very early.
Twice.
Still in a cluster, though. I mean, it's no breaking away from this.
No, you're going to have to fight hard. We've seen the 48 win a race this season. That was the walk-off at Daytona. And Grant Turner also a plate race winner. He won at Talladega in the, I believe, second closest top 4 V-Speed finish. Yes, I bring it up. It was the same week. It was actually the day after Bradley. It was quite intense
What
stuff.
was the closest, Morgan? I'll humor you.
Yeah, that was QSR Xfinity Series last season. I ended up winning that one. You had the call with Jake Reeves. Go check it out on the YouTube short. I don't know how I did it. Should have lost momentum, but sometimes
thousandths of a second amongst
things
4
work
cars.
out. Absolutely, got to buy a splitter.
Yes.
Side by side here, Murphy and Alex Forget just ahead of Grant Thorpe, who has lost a couple spots. No, so he's still in 8th. Oh, he's not lost any spots from last time we checked in on him, but probably not loving the 2 cars between him and Carter Linz.
Forget has 2 lap fresher tires than Justice Murphy right now, so I look to see the All About Bugs number 12 probably lose this spot here within the next 5 laps. And it's not based off talent, it's just, yeah, they're returning identical lap times, but as this race progresses, as this run progresses, we get closer to lap 120 or so. I think Forget is probably going to end up in this top 3. He's on pace right now to catch up to Trevor Keith. That time by a little bit slower, but he's also trying to get around Justice Murphy.
And I like what he's doing. He's working the lines, trying a little bit higher entry, lower exit, diamond the corner. Just try something different. If you follow right in the tire tracks, you're never going to pass the guy unless you move him out of the way, which you don't want to do here. But you can see the 19's a lane lower in the middle of the corner, lane higher on the straightaway, just trying to find a way around the 12. And there, look at that really high entry. Cannot quite roll to his quarter, but he's going to cross over the wake. No cautions out on the speedway.
Oh, we got a yellow.
Nick Alves.
Nick Alves.
There he is. There goes the 22, blinking again. Let's see what happened to Nick Alves. Currently
Loose
running
again
by himself here and disappears. catches the wall, and yeah, just around goes the 24 all on his own. Very similar to what we saw with Picklesheimer, other than the wall contact, just loose off the corner and unable to bring it back. And Bradley, I'm not sure what kind of experience you have racing this next-gen car, but I can tell you from my experience, it is one of the most difficult cars to save when it gets out of shape.
It's also one of the most difficult cars to know when it's getting out of shape. And so that, I think that's where we're seeing a lot of these guys have trouble saving it before it's too late, is you don't really know that it's out until you're already facing the inside or outside wall. You're already, perpendicular to where you want to be going. So I think right now the 24 valves, just thankful we didn't hit a wall.
That's right, with the low profile tires, the wide contact patch. Oh, Raider
close battle off of pit road.
Yeah, Raider didn't quite get him. Got close. Contact patch, everything else that's put into these cars, the way that there's very little right rear quarter panel, very little side force, makes these things step out in a hurry. The only way to really save them, other than just being precise with the steering wheel, with the track and pinion steering, is to jab the brake pedal, which the drivers behind you don't always love when you stop in the racing line trying to not spin. It's caused a lot of incidents so far this season. But that's the way, that's the trick to get it to straighten out with this independent suspension, independent brake cylinders front and back. Allows you to sometimes, if the brake bias is correct, bring it back to centered.
Well, this shakes up everything, Morgan.
It does.
With the caution coming out here, about 50 to go, this puts Lenz and Thorpe back into the hunt, and it also evens out the tires. Everybody came in and took 4. They should have about 2, maybe 3 sets remaining for most of these guys.
And the other thing this does, Bradley, we are right on the edge of the fuel window. Remember, we can go.
Yes.
We are a little shy of the fuel window. So this is some Grant Thorpe music right here.
He wants to try it.
I mean, you got to try it, right? He's been a little off.
Call Sean Langton.
Yeah, that's right. Grant Thorpe right up there with him. He's going to pit again. This is exactly the Grant Thorpe music we're talking about. This guy saves fuel better than anybody else I've seen in this league. He won one at Pocono this way. He just about got a couple more on fuel strategy. What better way to make your mark on the Championship 4 finale at Phoenix than with what is your calling card, fuel mileage?
Well, that 12% in the V-Speed chat should be going up to at least 50%. I think right now this race goes green to the end. And based off of our stats here at V-Speed, Grant Thorpe is gonna, if it's possible, he's gonna pull it off.
He'll have to save a good number of laps here. But I think if there's one driver who can do it, it's the driver of the 77. He's going to fall back to about the 20th
It's an extra
spot.
5.
Yeah, that's right. 5 more.
It's doable.
It is. It'll be tough, but it's doable. And I don't think that these front drivers are going to do it. I think they got to be focused on the 3 of them up at the front, and they're all lined up on the inside line. You see the yellow banners.
Oh, no, Thorpe is actually going to get a closed pit here exit. I don't think Thorpe's going to get...
Oh, he's all good. He's 19th.
Okay.
I think he's okay. Because he pit already, he can pit twice, so I think it'll be all right. Anyway, we're back racing here. Another of the same restart at the front of the field. Trevor Keith's probably getting sick of that restart. He just can't get anything done with it. It leans to the inside. Tight off the corner
almost
there.
contact off at 3.
They say that they're out of turn number 2 into turn 3. Keith's going to shake out to second again, or third again.
Actually off at 2 there where that contact almost happened, but I think it was just a matter of trying to find a hole there for Lenz. He was able to find it there on the backstretch. There's Berube looking to the inside. That's James Loveland just in front of him. I believe the highest position here for Loveland now. Side by side going into 3 and 4. Riding on board with the 54 of Caleb Gilbert.
Just locked in a heated battle with Michael Bennett. Bennett, I think, just fell behind him. Got that fan out to the inside there. There's
Out for the lead.
Robinson. You're right, battle for the lead as Morgan shoved out of the line. Raiders all over the back of the mountain man, Jeremy Burns.
Rob, the Rocket Raider had peeked to the inside there through 1 and 2. I thought he was going to get the spot. Burns was able to close the door there, stabbed the throttle, got back to it a little bit sooner. Still not a sizable gap as we saw earlier in this run. I think Raiders went back to the drawing board with this line.
And he was able to see what Burns was doing to get away from him. Be able to see where that 9 positioned his race car to make that lap time, and Raiders just trying to mimic it or counter it or whatever the case may be here. Gonna get to the inside, not quite to the quarter, but man, did he get close. It's a pretty car length, under 0.2 of a second, first to second. And Lynn's in the outside wall, just a kiss. Gonna lose a little bit of momentum, possibly a spot here to James Loveland, but the damage is gonna stop there for the 66. And Raiders there.
3 and 4 has been so much better for the 53. That time, a little bit wide on the exit, but he's setting up that dog leg to get an advantage to the inside. That time didn't work out, but you can see a higher entry into 1 and 2. He's going to get another good run here into 3 and 4. He'll drive it all the way to the bottom. He'll be right on the back bumper of the 9 here in the entry.
That Mustang is rolling. Look at the dive he gets into the corner. He's able to carry the speed through most.
He just gets tight there.
He does. He does get tight, that's for sure. But this is the point of the race. We've only got like just over 40 to go. You got to start trying stuff.
Yep.
I mean, Burns has
what
dominated the day. 76 laps led to Raiders 25. And other than the pit cycle, I don't think anyone else has had the lead today.
Raiders giving it everything he has there out of 3 and 4.
This is dig deep time. Absolutely.
Everything he has. He's tried different lines, now working the bottom. He also has to keep in mind that Trevor Keith into the wall there. Keith is going to be one of those thorns in his side, though. If he's trying to set up a pass and makes a mistake, Keith's going to take advantage of it.
Don't count out James Loveland. This guy is a master of the flat tracks. Had a great stretch of races, at least running at New Hampshire and Nashville. You know, not great finishes at those racetracks, if I'm not mistaken, but had a lot of speed. In fact, I think he won the pole at New Hampshire, if I'm not mistaken. So this O'Tuna's had to get around the flat tracks, use the brakes, keep momentum going, and he's currently running in 4th, doing us proud up here in the booth.
So remember, we restarted this with about an additional 5 laps onto the strategy. I was checking in with Grant Thorpe back here in the 17th position. He is on the clutch pedal into 1 and 2. He got a little smoke there in front of him. He's hoping this caution doesn't come out. Otherwise, this strategy is for nothing. But right now, the way it sits for the 77, if he can make it to the end and the rest of these guys up here racing, you've got 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 17th for your final 4.
And I like where the 77's at. I mean, obviously, he's a little farther back in the field, currently in 17th, as you said, but he's just rolling.
They're not thinking about him up front.
Exactly.
They're not thinking about him.
They're probably not looking. They might have their teammates out searching for him. Hey, where's the 77? We just moved up the 16th spot, working on Daniel Holloway. Now he's just got passed by Call. That was 18th. But regardless, you get your teammates maybe saying, hey, you know, he's kind of hanging out here in the back, and that makes you wonder, can he make it? If he can I make it if I pushed it too hard? Oh, 15's out of shape. Trevor Keith at the racetrack. But this is where you're going to
get another one.
Play tricks on yourself.
Yeah. Start second guessing yourself, yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're Jeremy Burns, led most of this race. Now you're thinking, oh man, am I going to lose this on a fuel strategy call? Like, for real? And then Rob Rader thinking the same thing, you know, is he going to get me? What can I do? Can I save fuel? I don't know if I have the pace to get Burns. It's such a complicated web right now for all these Championship 4 drivers, and they have to deal with the rest of the field as well.
Well, you've got to commit one way or the other at this point. If you're Rob Rader and you think, well, saving fuel because I can't catch Jeremy Burns is the better strategy, you probably should have been doing that 5 to 10 laps ago. I think right now for Rader, it's just a matter of dig deep and pray there's a caution, or, you know, Thorpe can't make it. That's the only other option. So at this point, it's drive as hard as you can, try to maintain that gap for first to second place. Thorpe is still on the clutch pedal, still doing what he needs to do. It's not a far-fetched adventure to go 5 laps extra on fuel here.
And there's no guarantee the 77 can make it, but it's definitely possible. And the possibility is what's scary for Burns, Rader, and Linz. Oh, caution, just about out. Robinson on the inside.
Stay green.
Got a moment off the corner. And yes, we do stay green. Lose a number of spots. Back to 14th now for the Outlet Barbershop, number 1.
Robinson lost about 3 positions there. Luckily, no one was there. Still struggling with the handling.
Hudgens got him a break. Big lift off the corner. The 84 able to get the power down and get to the inside, but not quite enough, as they have a great battle in front of them as well. Bresnock and Parker Johnston. That's with the T for those of you paying attention. Running 12th and 13th on the racetrack. In fact, I think the only driver we haven't been on the cams with today, we should give him his time in the sun. It's Devin Hudgens running in VR today, as he always does. Shout out to the pole winner last week. Not the finish he wanted because the headset died for him, or the controller died, or something of that nature. Lost the charge, but running 15th tonight. Going to close out this season the right way.
Kudos to anybody that's able to. Kudos to anybody that's able to run here on the VR. Yeah, he is having some camera issues. I'm still paying close attention back here. As every lap ticks by, Thorpe is tangled up here with Daniel Holloway, Devin Hudgens. A few of the drivers you were talking about just in front with Matt Robinson, who had problems there a moment ago. But these guys have fallen off in the lead about 10 seconds with how much they're saving. Trevor Keith just now goes by for the 3rd position. Loveland is going to give that spot back, but you're watching Thorpe on your screen there a second ago. I think for him right now, a caution is the end of this. And so if you're in a championship hope for the 77 team, this is it right here. The commitment is there. He's deep in this field. This is his shot. I think he can pull it off.
Yeah, the bet has been made. And the other thing, too, is if we have a caution, he might just stay out. Because with the caution laps, you probably can make it. Then it only is stretching at about 1 lap, depending on where that falls. So that's another wrinkle is if the caution comes out, and we're hoping that it doesn't for just racing's sake, what do you do then? Do you pit? Do you stay out? Is that the gamble you make? If you're Carter Linz in 5th, I mean, you've been fast. Oh, there goes Forget around.
Oh!
Forget to the outside wall.
Into the wall.
Caution is out.
Yellow's
That's what we're
out.
talking about. That might have just sunk the 77.
Alex Forget Berube loses control here in the top 10. Hard into the outside wall.
See it here. He's following behind Linz, just overcooks it into the corner, never had it under control. It slides, and then hard correct. Into the outside wall, parks it in the middle of the racetrack. Caution comes out with 30 laps to go.
There goes Thorpe by on the outside, and it's a wonder we weren't talking about more cars involved in that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was about as bad of a spot to park that car as you could possibly have, but everyone at the front of the field's on pit road. I think I do see the 77 back on pit road as well, so staying out not in the cards here. This is not what many drivers wanted to see. This is definitely not what the 77 wanted to see. Race off pit road all night has been Jeremy Burns over Rob Rader. Raider overcooked into the box. That's not going to help.
No, it's not. He might end up losing another spot here to Loveland or Keith.
There goes Keith.
down
Keith's
and
going to
away.
get him. He's going to get them all. 2 tires on the 15.
2 tires on Justice Murphy as well.
That changes everything. For the first time in this race, on a restart, we have not had Jeremy Burns or Rob Rader as the leader, as the control car. Oh, this changes everything.
This is going to make it so frustrating for Burns, who's been the command car on each one of these restarts or near the command car. You cannot afford to get behind. You're going to have your teammate either to your inside or right behind you, and there's not going to be a countdown. You have to be perfect here.
That's right. And another thing, too, let's talk about the balance of these race cars. We've seen quite a few drivers get loose on their own. Not a ton of tight conditions out here, it seems, but we've seen a lot of loose conditions. 2 tires on the left side, on the right side of this race car, that's going to make it so much looser. This thing is going to drive horribly for the first couple laps if you're the 15 and if you're the 12. The good news is you leapfrogged a few very fast race cars. The bad news, you got to hold them off for 30-some laps, or almost 30 laps here at Phoenix. This is a tough situation to be in if you're the 15, Trevor Keith, or the 12 of Justice Murphy.
And it's going to be right around 25 when we go back green. And I'm sitting here looking at where Trevor Keith has been running all race long. He had top 5 potential. This dice roll is just kind of an asterisk to the season of, you know what? I'm going to come out here and make some fireworks, shake it up here with the top 4. I'm coming out here for wins. I have no skin in the game when it comes to this final championship, so why not go out here and set the world on fire? I like the call with 25 to go. Good chance here with these restarts that we could see another caution and 2 tires pay off.
And make no mistake, this is a driver who I think believes he could have been here, probably should have been here if circumstances go a little different last week and he's able to hang on for the win rather than take the pit, had the pit for the penalty. Trevor Keith might be the other one in the final 4 and not Carter Linz. But that's just not the way it worked out for your current leader in the 15. KSX Racing Graphics Mustang, but that's the way racing goes sometimes. It's a cruel sport. Sometimes you're on top of the world and then moments later the rug gets pulled away from you.
Here we go, Morgan. Check your pulse.
That's up there. A lot of these drivers feeling that too, especially your top 4, your championship 4. But let's not forget, a race one's on the line. Everyone here has a reason to go for it. And on the restart, inside line, great jump. Oh, the next magic there.
Raider to the inside.
Look at that drive. Oh, loose for the leader. He goes around in front of Burns.
Sideways. Burns is involved.
Burns in the wall. They stay green. Raider takes over the point.
Ton of ground loss for the 9. He's back to 6th. Maybe 5th position as he'll settle out.
And that was exactly what I said. Loose into turn number 1 for the 15. And that may be the thing, the unavoidable thing that we talked about at the top of the show. For Jeremy Burns, he still has a shot at it. Still 2 spots away from glory.
He's got the speed.
But he's gonna have to get on his horse right now. That Mustang's gonna have to start churning out horsepower. He's gonna catch his teammate Rob Rader, who's fighting for the lead right now.
You can just hope that Justice Murphy holds up the 53 for as long as he can. We're talking about over a 1.5 seconds. It's quite the gap back there.
Carter Linz in trouble.
Sideways.
Lost a bunch of spots. Back to 12th. In fact,
Behind Thorpe now.
Grant Thorpe has gone around him.
Look at Thorpe up to the top 10.
Look at the 27 loose as well. We got drivers all over the place here. Struggling with the handling. 3 wide behind him. I don't like that one bit. Oh, there goes the 48. Parker Johnston with a big moment somehow saved it. This race has gotten on edge.
Thorpe's into the wall.
Just about.
Really close.
Just about. all over the racetrack. And here comes Raider, got around the 12. 2 tires starting to fade.
Is Raider going to go 4 times here? 20 laps to go roughly. Jeremy Burns back in 4th. Just under a second. Back to the 9 cars. We're on board.
There's the driver cam. And you can see the focus.
This is the championship right here in front of him. 3 spots away. Has to get to his teammate.
0.6 of a second. And 2 cars separate Jeremy Burns from the 3-time champion. How does he get around the 2 in front of him? Does he get around the 2 in front of him? As I see Linz and Thorpe battling for 8. Trying to be the next driver in line in case things go sideways for the front 2. Thorpe's gonna get the spot right here to get around Linz. Yes, he will clear the center of 1 and 2.
And he's been playing defense ever since Linz made that mistake. But back up here into the top 5. Burns is still trying to figure out a way around Loveland. He'll dive it to the inside in 3 and 4. Loveland a little bit up the racetrack. You're probably going to see the 9 cut all the way down. Doesn't cut it as much as I thought he would. Almost some contact into the entry of turn 1.
Let the 9 roll the bottom. I don't know if he's going to be able to clear on the exit. He will, in fact, clear on the exit.
Burns tires for the next one. Caution's out.
Not sure where that was.
It was Alves again.
Alves again. I think that car's had enough. I think I saw the left front. Some heavy damage. No, it's still turning. I think he'll be all right. Regardless, let's go back.
He's towing. He's towing.
Let's go back and see what happened there. To the 24. Oh, he's in the middle of 3 wide. Another connection issue in front of Call and just right hooked. Oh, it's the it's the right rear that's got some heavy damage. Looks not spinning anymore. Left rear not spinning anymore. It's a day ender right there. Seen a few drivers with the connection issues today, and it's going to claim another car. Little housekeeping. We haven't done a great job of that today. 25 drivers in the race. Top 21 on the lead lap. Kyle Diaz, Joe Joya, Nick Alves now, and Grant the Toes Turner are laps down. 1 for the first 3, and then 2 for Grant Turner in 25th. Trevor Erhardt, Cameron King, Christopher Schaefer, Brandon Richardson, and Chris Nail have left the session. They will finish 26th through 30th here tonight. So 21 on the lead lap. Diaz might get the lucky dog here. Trevor Keith falling through the field. He's on pit road. We're gonna get those 2 tires. Remember, he had 2 tires. Gonna put 4 on it and see if he can make a charge through the field on slightly fresher tires, about 12 laps. But now, Bradley, it's a shootout.
Well, if you're Thorpe, you're sitting in 8th. If you're Linz, you're right beside him. You're kind of wondering, is this thing, has it gotten away from you? That's where you are right now in this situation. And I know the top 2 have been dominant all race long, as the top 3, but right now with Jeremy Burns, it's even playing field yet again. You've got that reset button. Go get it.
We're going to find out how the shootout finishes right after a quick commercial break and a word from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. Catch the last 15 laps right after this. Been watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series presented by Racing Revolution.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Dweck.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here on V-Speed. Just want to give another shout out to all of the great sponsors and partners that have made this season possible. Not missing anything on the track. We are just getting the 1 to green signal. Pace car about to pull into pit road. But for all of the companies, businesses up on the screen here, we should give them a thank you, give them a shout out. It's been a phenomenal season. And we're glad that every one of them has made this racing possible. Can't do without sponsors, can't do without drivers, can't do without fans here on V-Speed, the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. Now back to the racing action. Field now just rolling into turn number 3. Raider to the control car, Burns on the outside, and Raider's gonna launch. No more time for counting down. They all cut the racetrack way down to the apron. Burns on the outside of Justice. Murphy's going to run him tight way up the racetrack. Caution is out. Once again, Trevor Keith, I believe, going to cause that one. Going to re-rack and do the same thing once again. See what happened here. I think it was to the 15. Wide. Yeah, loose for the 15 into the outside wall, not quite. His last few restarts have not gone well for Trevor Keith. Back here to the live shot. Laps are dwindling. We're about to be within 10 when we go back racing. I could not imagine the nerves of Rob Raider trying to go for his 4th consecutive championship, or Jeremy Burns right behind him trying to get number 1. Unseat the current 3-time and defending champion. Grant Thorpe back in 6th with an outside chance at it right now. Carter Lynn's in 9th. Needs everything to go right over these final 12 laps or so if he's going to find himself in position to win the championship for his first time as well. We've seen strategy. We've seen intense white-knuckle racing. We're about to see a shootout. Under 10 to go to determine your champion.
I hate to say it, Morgan, but we're approaching green-white checkered territory.
We are.
So what kind of fitting finish would we have here where Burns maybe gets one more opportunity if he messes this one up to go up there and claim that championship back? He's dominated the day, but Rob Raider in good fashion, shown why he's a 3-time champion. When it gets tough, man, he finds his way back to the front.
What I would say about your last comment is don't screw it up. This is probably your last opportunity. I would not bank on cautions. I've always had that mentality that you never know if a caution's going to fly unless it's a stage, of course. Don't bank on them. Let them get the better of you. Don't hinge your whole strategy, your whole season on a caution, maybe or maybe not coming out in this race.
So quick update here on the poll, Morgan. You've got Burns at 50%, Raider at 10%, 30% for Lenz, who's sitting back in the 9th position, and then Grant Thorpe at 10%. We've had over 20 votes here. We're going to close these polls as soon as we hit that checkered flag, so go ahead and cast those votes now if you're in the chat still.
I'm surprised that it's only 10% for your 3-time defending champion on his best racetrack and leading
in the lead
again. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the part I think that should have the rest of this field concerned. Is it took Burns, what was it, 30 laps to start this race before he was able to get around the 53, and he's only got 10 to do it now.
Morgan, you're talking to Burns Nation here.
That's
There's
right.
a lot of people supporting the 9 team out here in this chat all season
right.
long. So
That's right. Got to play devil's advocate though.
yeah.
Can't praise Jeremy Burns all the time. I certainly am guilty of that. I'm just enthralled by the guy's talent. But mean, he's going to have to earn this one. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, he's going to need all that collegiate background to get this championship.
Justice Murphy on the outside. He could still grab this win. Still on those 2 older tires, about 20 laps older than the rest of the field's 20 laps tires. And look at Michael Bennett. Came out of nowhere. He's running 4th right now.
How about it? Under 10 to go. Great restart.
Yeah, Loveland gave a big shot to the 9. Got him going. And all over the back bumper of Rob Rader. Rader slipped up a
Rader
little
sending
bit.
a little too far into 1.
Oh, door to door for the lead. For the championship, crosses him over.
Close the door.
What an aggressive move. This is what we came here to see.
You got to make moves like that. This is what you want here, Morgan. You got to make these moves. This is the closing laps, cutting the tri-oval a little bit more that time than we've seen all race long for Burns. To the outside in 1 and 2 now.
Gonna slide up in front of Burns is Rader. They're both in the outside wall. Whole field's in the outside wall.
Thornton got a piece of it back in 5th.
They're all pushing 120%. Everything you got right now. Thorpe's in the outside wall again. And Burns to the outside. He's got the right rear quarter. Can he roll turns number 1 and 2?
That's a wide entry.
And I'm going to say...
I think Raiders having the advantage.
Not quite. Couldn't get the exit speed. Had it through the middle. Oh, Forget's out of line. Big slide for the 19.
in the wall. At 5 to go, but he's going to keep it going. We stay green.
We stay green. And Burns lost a little that time.
5 to go.
Back bumper. Oh, caution's out. Caution's out on the speedway.
Trevor Keith again here. Problems in 1 and 2.
That is a natural hat trick for Trevor Keith. Not the kind you're looking for.
And it just got tighter.
Oh, they're 5
Green,
wide.
white, checkered.
They're all wrecked. Look at that. We got 5 cars back there spun
Is that
around.
the 48?
Go back and check it out there in just a sec. And this is where the actual caution came from. Oh, and Forget, what a job avoiding him. There's a couple replays we got to go see there. First off is the 22. Let's check it out here. This was a wide one. This was a wild one from the gyro cam. So you see Keith's a little out of shape. Gets everybody kind of bottled up here. And look at this.
Watch the 22. In the air.
It's not what you want. All 4 tires off the ground there. And then let's go on board here with Forget. Little quick move.
Wow.
Did get some contact there, but unreal.
Was it tuck and roll?
Yeah, tuck and roll is right.
And he already had that moment there before that prior where I think he had some damage.
I heard a bit of a scrape when he passed by. That's why I say maybe a little bit of contact there. But yes, he definitely did have damage. He's been in the wall a time or two. He had that right hook incident where he had it sliding from 5th, kind of corrected back into the wall. Currently running
Look
50.
at these guys. I'm watching Raider fake pit right now. There's no way that you're coming down pit road right now. There's no way. I just witnessed that a moment ago, and I can tell you right now the situation is going to warrant that the 53 get the restart that he had last time, and he's going to close every door he can with respect to his teammate. But this is for the 4th championship, Morgan. If you thought the nerves were high at the beginning of this race, multiply that by a green-white checker.
Absolutely. And you mentioned green-white checkers before. Well, you got one. You got your wish. Here it is. Give me the first. And I believe we have 3 of them. Could be wrong about that. It might be 2. We'll keep an eye on that. Regardless, for those of you who are new to oval racing, not sure what a green-white checker is, we will be doing a choose here in probably the next lap or so. Once drivers are all set up in their lanes, they will get the green flag, is what Barney will give them. They will try and complete a lap. If they're able to complete that lap, bring it back to the white flag. The next flag, whether that be the yellow one or that black and white checkered one, will end the race and determine your winner. If they are unable to complete that first green flag lap, we re-rack it, throw some more laps on the board, and try it one more time. I believe there are 3, there could be 2, so we could see a what we call premature winner here if we get another green white checker and that one potentially does not unfold in a natural fashion. What's that for an analysis,
Can
Bradley?
confirm 3.
Can confirm 3?
Can confirm 3. Yes.
Fantastic.
So this will be 1 of 3 here. And for Jeremy Burns, he got an excellent restart that last time under our natural restart. Matched everything that the 53 of Rob Rader did. Rob was able to close every door, though. Took away that line. That's what you have to do here. You're going to play defense. You know the 9's fast. If you let him get ahead of you, it's game over.
And don't look
he
now.
set sail earlier.
We talk about those top
look
2,
at this.
but Brad Thorpe is 4th. It is not
Oh,
over
boy.
for the 77.
It's time to send it, huh?
Oh yeah, this is
Lynn's in 8th.
Yeah, this is wild. 77 is praying that the 12 gets a good jump. Like, absolutely praying. Every deity he's ever heard of is getting a call right now.
All right, Mr. Tennessee. Let's see what you got.
Let's see if he can put the Vols in victory lane. Another big launch. 12 did not go.
Outside did not get a good start there. The 9 matched the 53 into the dog leg. Here we go into turns 1 and 2. They're fanning out 4 wide behind.
And Burns going to get into the back of his team. He's going to get loose.
He's loose. He's lost it. The 9's around.
And Burns is wrecking. The caution's going to come out again.
Big crash. Another
There's the
green white
caution.
checkered.
There's the
Championship
caution.
is over for the 9.
Oh, heavy damage. That car is destroyed. Massive contact with the 1. We're going to go back and watch it again, but that is the end of the playoff hopes for driver 9, the dominant driver of the season, Jeremy Burns.
It all came down to 3 laps to go, and a slight miscalculation into 1 and 2 gets him sideways into the back of Rob Rader.
We'll go back to the very start here of this restart. See from high above in the blimp cam. We saw he matched the start, maybe a touch slower on the reaction time than Rader was. But he tried to send it in and move Rader out of the way. Right there, he got to the corner, gave him a bump, and then it just wiggled and snapped. And then there's the 1, nowhere to go.
This is just not a good situation to be in at that point.
No, nothing you can do. And unfortunately, that is going to end the day for Jeremy Burns.
I gotta go back. We gotta talk about the statistics here for Jeremy Burns and how this whole season comes down. You've got all of these stats accumulated with 9 wins here. Just a phenomenal season all the way through for Jeremy Burns. And to have it come down to a broken toe link and that damage. Burns just phenomenal average position throughout these races. 6.7. 33% chance that he's going to start on the pole. Had 10 poles this year. His average start was 3rd. 39% chance that he's going to end up with victory lane. Just a phenomenal season. Number of top 5s, it's at 18. 24 top 10s. That's out of 34 races prior to this moment.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, this is the playoff format, just the way that it works. And I'm not going to get too deep into whether it's the right one or the wrong one or whatever. But these are the moments it produces where you can have the best season of anybody in this series ever, smash all the records, and still finish 4th in the points. It's heartbreaking. It's frustrating. But every driver has the same chance when they strap into the seat for Daytona 40 weeks ago to be here in this moment and have an opportunity to win a championship. And the other 3 are in position to possibly do that, and it sucks for Jeremy that his season comes down to a late move that didn't go well, and he's going to finish tonight. It looks like in 22nd, unless we have many more green-white checkers, looks like 22nd real finish. It just, that's the way these work sometimes.
Yeah, and you can go back and look at every scenario there on that restart, but ultimately Burns is trying to move Raider out of the way into one. He dove into the corner as deep as he could. He was trying to wiggle the 53 out of the way, and it backfired. And so even though you can look at the talent level, he is human, and that maybe it's a mistake that he'll go back and reflect on for next season for sure.
And I don't think that was the wrong move. Don't get me wrong. I think that he was going to have to give a little bit of contact with the 53. I just don't think he expected it to, once he hit him, to snap back to the right. And then he just he had it almost saved, but back into traffic, and obviously we saw the result. So, but that's out of every driver's mind now.
Green-white checkered attempt number two here.
We got 3 laps. See if they can get it done on this one. Raider, big launch. 77 did not go. 2 more times around, unless there's a caution.
Thorpe is under fire, 4 wide.
That is not a good sign. 4 wide is not what you want to see.
How about Berube down there on the bottom, just outside of the top 10?
Everyone
into the wall. Looks like we're going to make it official here, Morgan. We'll have to go.
And for the final time this season, it's the Erhardt Homes white flag. Love where you live. Rob Raider.
It's going to be 4 times.
Nearest championship contender. 2 cars wide. Murphy's in the wall.
Wow.
Murphy's in the wall. Thorpe is right behind him. All Raider has to do is bring it back to the stripe.
Is Lynn's going to get second in the points here?
And Rob Raider,
out of 3 and 4, is
going to win in Phoenix. And unofficially, Rob Raider is 2024 champion. Unofficially, of course, admins will be making sure that that there were no infractions, there were no lines broken, lines crossed, restart violations, whatever have you. They'll make sure everything is good and that this is, in fact, Rob Raider's 4th championship. Wins the race here at Phoenix.
It looks like it.
We will have this confirmed for you after our results, after our commercial break. But for now, unofficially, Rob the Rocket Raider, 2024 Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series champion. Let's watch. One heck of a burnout. And it was a great drive. This entire race led a great number of laps today to potentially bring home number 4. We will chat with him after a commercial break. Quick word from our sponsors. After our results, once this has been deemed official, you've been watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series here on V-Speed. The Coastal Financial 156, the season finale, here in 2024. We'll be back right after this.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we built a company that will stand the test of time. And My goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The ball gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Slack.
Slack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here for the finish. Post show here for the finale at Phoenix, the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series, the Coastal Financial 156. Here's how it went: 10 cautions, 8 lead changes. Rob Rader, unofficially your winner and unofficially your champion this evening. Still waiting on word from the admins. We'll get that to you as soon as we can. James Loveland going to come home in second here tonight. Grant Thorpe in third. Carter Linz in fourth. Michael Bennett going to finish in the top 5 here today. Kyle Diaz in sixth. Caleb Gilbert, after missing out last week, will finish in seventh. The Candyman up to 8th, actually right where he started. Eventful day to finish in 8th for the 21. Parker Johnston gained 7 spots to finish in 9th. And Alex Forget up 2 after another eventful day. He finishes in the 10th position.
Biggest gainer of the race there, Kyle Diaz. Congratulations to him in that 6th place effort. I believe he was one of the cars that got sent there during that lap car incident with Burns and all of your top 4. But looking back here with Devin Hudgens, he will finish in 11th position. Trevor Keith, a hat trick here with cautions though, and then 15 probably had a rough day, but will come home in the 12th position. Kevin Orlando Jr., 13th. Jackson McGeorge will finish in 14th position with Grant Turner just behind him. Then it's Tyler Harrison in the 45 and 16th position, quiet day. Justice Murphy, who had, I don't even know what to call it, just a moment there through 1 and 2, snapped free and hit the wall. He'll finish 17th. Christian Bresnock will finish 18th. Matt Robinson 19th. And Dylan Picklesheimer will round out your top 20.
Your final 10 here tonight. Michael Call going to finish 21st, 1 lap down. Jeremy Burns, we saw what happened to him. He will finish 22nd, 4 laps off the pace. Joe Joya finishes 23rd with Travis Gilbert in 24th. Nick Alves retired early, 25 laps early to be exact. He finishes in 25th. Trevor Erhardt, 26th. Cameron King in 27th. Christopher Schaefer, Brandon Richardson, and Chris Nail will round out your field here for the finale, the final race of the year here in Phoenix. With our final results of the season, it's now time for our 3 final interviews of the season. I have caught up here with Grant Thorpe. Grant, it's Morgan and Bradley up in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Well, I know this isn't where you wanted to be at the end of 156 laps. In fact, we ran 163. It's not official yet, but what are the emotions? How are you feeling? You brought that Tennessee 77 up to 3rd. What do you got for us?
Overall, I'm happy with it. I made a pretty big mistake about, well, I guess early on after the stage. Got in the corner a little hot, downshifted, got loose and lost a bunch of positions. After that, I think I was 21st. So during that green flag run, just kept slowly kind of picking my way forward. Kind of got stuck behind Holloway. I was never able to get around him. I could never get to him to even kind of bump him out of the way. It was super hard to pass. I was thankful for the guys that cut me some breaks along the way to let me get to that point. But it was fun racing with him. And then really after that caution came out, turned into a few miles race for me. Thought I was going to get lucky there. I was good to the end. And then the caution came out 30 to go, kind of spoiled that plan for me. But overall, happy with 2nd place in the championship. Hate to not win it, but I'm happy for Rob nonetheless.
Yeah, we were calling it out when you had pit that last time. You pit the 2nd time, and I said, "This is Grant Thorpe music. This is an opportunity for the 77 to do the thing that got him in the playoffs and win a fuel mileage race here in the championship." Obviously, did not quite work out. The caution with 30 to go, and it is just now official. You are 2nd in the championship, so congratulations on that, making the final 4. But probably a bittersweet moment for you, I would imagine.
For sure. But really is overall happy with the progress I've made. Definitely wasn't anywhere close this time last year to be able to even compete for it. So definitely making gains, continue to work at it during the off season, trying to find a little bit more speed, and maybe I can give Rob a run for his money next season.
Yeah, someone's got to stop him from becoming 5-time a la Jimmy Johnson, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was a big Jimmy Johnson fan, so I got to protect him there.
All right, Grant. Well, it was a good race for you. You had the incident. You worked your way back up to the front. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out for a 3rd place finish in the finale here at Phoenix?
Really, biggest one is to the rest of the admin team. We put in a lot of work. We come back sometimes the day after the race to review stuff. But sometimes these races, as you have known, they run a little bit long sometimes, and reviews kind of will carry on to the next day. Sometimes there's penalty appeals and stuff. So really, just a lot of extra work by the admin team. So really proud of them for everything we've done this year. The leagues continue to grow. And also just very excited about what the future holds for Racing Revolution.
Yeah, the future is definitely bright for this league. Already one of the best on V-Speed, and I see it getting better here in the near future. I'm sure of it with the admin team behind the scenes. Thank you for your time, Grant. Congratulations on 3rd place tonight and 2nd in the championship.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good night, and see you next season, hopefully.
You bet. That is your 3rd place finisher, Grant Thorpe. Now Bradley has caught up with V-Speed's very own James Loveland.
Yeah, I got James Loveland down here on pit road. And James, you snuck your way into the top 5 several times today. But on these green-white checkers, you seem to thrive. Had a shot at maybe snagging this away and making it one of those races that you would call maybe a punctuation on the whole season. But nonetheless, runner-up, still a solid day. You started in third. Well, you're going to gain 1 spot here to come home on the podium.
Yeah, it, had a little rough start there. Almost wrecked myself out of this race. Yeah, just kind of cleared my head and got back into it and just kept working my way up slowly, surely. And yeah, at the end there, just I kind of I wanted to win the race, but I also kind of wanted to be courteous to the championship guys and let them duke it out for their title. So yeah, I'll take a second place. It's a great way to end off a season for how bad it was. And just, I mean, unfortunately, I had things in real life to take care of that cost me to not even be in the playoffs. But yeah, I'm just happy that came home with the second place. Felt really strong, and yeah, I wish we had the win, but we were close.
Well, James, you're the V-Speed ambassador, and I got to ask you, I know you mentioned real life there for a moment, but you had some frustrations as well with equipment malfunctions. How's that new wheel working out?
I don't think I had an equipment malfunction.
I might be thinking of somebody else. I
Different
might be a little bit behind.
Different V-Speed driver, Bradley.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was me.
I was a little confused on that one. That's my mistake there. But you do come here into this race with a number of different stats, and we can go through all of that. But ultimately, you come out in this race with a high hope of finishing in the top 3, solidifying that you should have been part of this Final Four. How does it feel to get that top podium position to work out at the end of this season?
Yeah, it was really good. I knew I was really quick here. Even last season, I was in the Final Four last season, and unfortunately, I was speeding on pit road, and then I got caught up in a wreck that cost me a shot at the title. But yeah, I knew I had speed here. I knew I could be at least top 5 pace, and it showed it tonight. And yeah, I wish I was in that Final Four, but had to take care of things in real life, and yeah, just wish I could have been there. Maybe I would have had a shot. Maybe things would have been different.
Well, congratulations on the podium here tonight. Is there anybody that comes to mind here while we have you in the booth?
Yeah, just shout out to my team. First of all, it's we're ending the team this year, and we had a great handful of seasons running with each other, and yeah, just really happy to cap it off with a second place finish with them, and hats off to the league for you know this whole season. It was a great season, very competitive season, a lot of great drivers out there, and yeah, congrats to Rob to the with the championship 4 times. So yeah, he's really proven that he's one of the best on here. Just shout out to everybody else, and what a great season it was.
4
And
top
shout out to
5s,
V-Speed.
10 top 10s. Hey, go ahead and shout out V-Speed. I appreciate
Shout
that.
out to V-Speed, Adam and all the guys. Great people, great broadcasts. I'll be starting next week running the BTDY series and the Xfinity cars with V-Speed. So looking forward to that.
Again, 4 top 5s, 10 top 10s. A great asterisk and punctuation here on the end of this season. Congratulations, James Loveland, on the podium finish, and we thank you for your time, buddy.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Second place finisher, James Loveland.
Absolutely. Now we're going to move to the top step of the podium, and your champion for 2024, it's Rob Rader. Let's get him up here in the booth. Rob, it's Morgan and Bradley up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, boys.
Well, it's official. Rob
Yes.
the Rocket Raider is the 2024 Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series champion for the 4th season in a row. First question, how'd you do it? What did it take? And what are you feeling right now?
Oh my God. I'll tell you, this one was by far and away the hardest one out of all of them. I mean, harder than the first three combined. Really, the strength of this field is just it's mind blowing, and it feels great to come out here and be near the front every week, knowing how much talent's in this field. And man, Jeremy was so much faster during the middle parts of the race, and yeah, the goal was to stay in front of him, and didn't get to pull that one off thanks to whatever happened, and then we went out there and made it happen. So, man, I am so freaking pumped up about this one. You have no idea, Morgan. This is so much cooler than all the other ones combined. There was a long stretch there over the last few months where, I mean, I was still having good races and whatnot, but I just never really felt like the championship was going to happen this year. And then missed a race, and then won Bristol, and still never really quite felt like this was my year. And then here we are. So, I do have to give a huge shout out to Jeremy Burns. He raced me pretty clean there all the way through the race. We raced each other really clean. We worked together at times during that race to make sure that it could be between us. I know he got caught up on a restart there behind some guys that took 2 tires, and I'm sure he's not terribly pleased about it. But at the end of the day, you gotta take advantage of your situations when you got them, and I took advantage of that one, and here I am, baby. 4X, man. I am so freaking pumped. It's a shame that I can't say 4-letter words because I'm that freaking excited right now, my man.
Well, the 4-letter word that follows you around is wins. I think you cap number, was it 10 tonight? Was it 8 or 9 tonight?
Doesn't even matter. Who cares?
Just phenomenal season for Rob Rader, for all of LMNX. Jeremy Burns obviously having the issues there at the end. He gave you a bit of a tap on that final green-white, or second to last green-white checker. Got into the back of you, tried to move you up out of the way, and just didn't quite work out. I mean, at that moment, you are leading the race. You can see clear track in front of you, but you see your teammate right behind you. What are you thinking? Are you thinking he's going to move me? Like how do you process all of that?
Well, the game plan there, I mean, Jeremy was getting really good restarts behind me, and he kind of knows my restart strategy here, and I can't change it up too much because if I go later in the box, he's going to already be on my bumper. So I kind of just had to live with it. And then down into 1 and 2 on the restart where we made contact and he ended up crashing. I dove it in there pretty hard, Morgan. Because I knew that was going to be his best chance. It wasn't his only chance, but that was going to be his best chance. So I dove it in there pretty hard, and he dove it in even harder. And for a split second, I thought, Grant Thorpe's about to win this championship because we we went in there and I mean, I was going to give him room if I could. Obviously, the number one goal is to get an LMNX Racing driver this championship. Even if that means that I get rooted up out of the way, we're not about to throw it away over that. But I would have done the same thing if I was Jeremy. I feel like your best chance is right there into 1 and 2. He had his best pace advantage down there in 1 and 2 on me, especially in the middle of the corner. So I think he just tried to make up a little bit on entry and got in there a little too hot. And then the way this car is, as soon as you give the guy the bumper, if you're not lined up the right way, it really messes up the second car more than it does the first car. So, I hate it for Jeremy, but I love it for me that it worked out that way because, obviously I probably wouldn't be nearly as happy if I ended up in the wall there. But, we worked as a team all day, all night. And it's a shame. I don't know where he ended up.
22nd.
Okay. I don't know where that is. Probably 4th in.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
The championship. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, he showed up with first place pace and is going to have a 4th place trophy. That's tough. But I mean, I I've been here a few times, Morgan, and I'll tell you right now, I'd rather finish fourth, giving it everything I had in a turn one, than to finish second, knowing that I had something else I could have done. So, big shout out to Jeremy and all of his fan base for being with us here at EXR this season, and Chapman Environmental Services for being on both cars. I'm glad that one of us was able to get it done tonight. I know Jeremy's pretty disappointed in himself right now. That's probably an understatement, but you know, it feels so good, Morgan. I can't put it into words how good this one feels.
Yeah, you can hear it in your voice. The driver doesn't get typically too excited. Is just elated right now in Rob the Rocket Raider, and you've made that nickname come true tonight. Went up through the field, got lucky on that one restart with those 2 tire calls and having I think the 15 get loose in front of you. You're able to work through it and then just put on a master class of restarts. You and Burns able to work together all day, and easily the bottom lane cleared the top lane by 2 car lengths every time. Just a masterful job. And Rob Raider is your 2024 Cup Series champion. How does that sound?
It sounds incredible. Again, huge shout out to the team, Element X Racing. Oh, I almost did it. I almost hit it, Morgan. Hold on. Let me reel that back in. I almost said a word I couldn't say. Morgan.
Don't do that.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Look, next year, EXR's teaming up with Performance. We are going to have a little 2 team of 3 kind of thing working together, but as separate teams. Really looking forward to that next season, working with Nick, Michael Bennett, and those guys. And the existing EXR team is such a phenomenal group of people. You know, we brought Jeremy Burns in last season over here, and I mean, if the kid's not going to win this year, I can't imagine what we have to deal with next year. He's going to have a fire lit under him. But you know, we have such an awesome core group of people in this team. We're going to have more people added for next season, and beyond that, you know, not only am I the race winner, the champion, and all that stuff is great, but I do have to give a sincere shout out to everybody that makes this happen. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into this, Morgan, and I put a lot of time and effort into it, but our entire admin team puts a ton of time and effort into this. Nick Alves, Grant Thorpe, Justice Murphy, Kevin Orlando, Trevor Erhardt. We put this whole thing together back 2.5 years ago. You know, we came out of a bad situation, and we had the goal of putting together the best league that we possibly could. And if it paid money, I'd live in a 7-bedroom house right now because we have put so much time into this. And it's taken every last person in this administrative group to put together the racing that we see week in and week out, not counting Martinsville. And man, everybody that we have in this league, we've had a core group of people for a long time that are some of the best people that you'll ever be able to spend time with. You know, we have a core group of people that has to be 16, 18 people. That is a phenomenal friend group. We got everybody together and went to the Coke 600 this year, and we had 20 plus people there. We rented a big ass mansion and spent our long weekend there with everybody. And you know, these are things that most leagues can't do. Most leagues don't have the people that care enough to pour that blood, sweat, and tears into it and spend that money and all get along the way that we do here. And it really is something special. And it's taken a ton of time and effort out of everybody that's part of the league, but especially the administrative team. So I got to give a huge shout out to those guys. I'm going to say their names again: Nick Alves, Grant Thorpe, Justice Murphy, Kevin Orlando, and Trevor Erhardt, because without them, we wouldn't be, anything at this point. And I mean, we've really grown this into something special. And that's why this means so much to me. So big shout out to those guys.
Awesome. Well, I couldn't have said it better. I mean, you wrapped that up perfectly. Thank you for your time, Rob the Rocket Raider, your 2024 Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series champion, presented by Racing Revolution. Incredible work, and I can't wait to see what you do next year.
Thank you, and big shout out to Coastal Financial for all their support this year, including sponsoring this race. They mean a lot.
Right on. Well, thank you, Rob, for your time. We're going to drop you back down in the waiting room and wrap up the final show of the season. That's your champion, Rob Rader. And just what a phenomenal race here, Bradley. It was all the way throughout. What a great season we had here. And for everyone at Racing Revolution, get this one back on the screen here. The admins, Rob Rader, Justice Murphy, Grant Thorpe, Kevin Orlando Jr., Trevor Erhardt, and Nick Alves. The season-long sponsors, All About Bugs, Erhardt Homes, Coastal Financial, Buttkicker, Ultimate Exterior Lighting, and Chapman Environmental Services, and all of the per-race sponsors you see up on your screen here. Thank you sincerely for a phenomenal season. One of the best I've ever seen on iRacing, one of the best I've ever seen in racing in general. A terrific season, and you got to watch all of it here on V-Speed. Was a great one. And if you haven't already, I don't know what you're waiting for, but it's time to click to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification icon so you don't miss a moment of this great racing action you can't get anywhere else. But for everyone at V-Speed who makes this possible throughout the season, Mike, Alex, Logan, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, and of course my co-commentator Bradley Cooper, I've been Morgan Cook. Have a great evening. Congratulations to Rob Rader. Thank you, and good night, everyone.